Welcome back to the Ambition Over Fear portal. Today I want to talk about magic and spell work and the main reasons why we don't actually understand what these terms are. Based on how we grew up, the spiritual philosophies and schools of thought that surrounded our environment as we grew up really created an imprint on a subconscious level of what these words mean. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about what they actually mean so you can understand how to raise your consciousness from a point of pure understanding instead of working off of old belief systems. The beautiful thing about consciousness is as we move into new realms of understanding how the universe works, we have to let go of previous thoughts that we have in our system that tell us what a particular word means. The interesting thing is, words are very powerful, and the association we have towards any given word really predicts the energetic relationship that we are going to manifest as experiences based on that connection we have towards the word. So back in the day, magic and spell work really carried forward a disempowering meaning, and in reality every single thing is neutral. Money is neutral, having a business is neutral, emotions are neutral. Every single thing in this universe has a neutral charge, and depending on the meaning we give it or the meaning we agree to unconsciously, we are truly deciding what that thing is in our universe, because each and every single one of you is operating from your own universe. And the reason this is because you, as an interdimensional soul, you have had many reincarnations as different humans, possibly different intergalactic beings such as starseeds, god seeds, or angelic seeds. And what that does is it creates a network of communication and energy between every reincarnation you've had. And the moment you realize the importance of remembering a certain reincarnation is when you're supposed to understand what patterns of energy are trailing forward from those reincarnations that give you more clarity on why the things you're trying to heal or the passions you're trying to expand upon have a lot of backed up energy that wants to be carried forward to multiply your ability to access more consciousness in this reincarnation based on remembering those. So you're basically living in an entire network of energy, and your soul is the control point. Your soul is the control panel, and every single thing you see is a reflection of your own soul's ability to place its own consciousness into those aspects of the universe. Because every single thing you see around you is a reflection of self. Every person you bring in, every situation that comes into your field is a reflection of your own way of existence. So you are in your own universe, and you have to truly decide, what do you want your universe to look like? How do you want this reincarnation to function based on your ability to navigate the realms of interdimensional wisdom, and how can you take spiritual knowledge and apply it to your life so you cannot be a victim of the matrix but a creator in your own matrix, right? So magic and spell work have this lingering shadow around them because it is a neutral way to interact and transmute and control energy. The reason why it may have a shadow following it or a darkness that comes behind it is because the stories that are being heard on a repeated manner are stories where people have used magic and spell work in a disempowering way. And when you're only hearing about how an aspect of the universe is being used to create unfortunate circumstances, that aspect of the universe, and in this case, it is magic and spell work, that thing has a tainted view on it, and it can actually prevent you from taking this neutral thing and applying it to your own life. And when you're able to let go of what something may have meant to you in the past and you give it a new meaning, you're now taking the universe and all the inventory of amazing mystical things that exist inside of it, and you're taking that thing and applying it to your life in a constructive and helpful manner. And this actually unlocks a higher realm of frequency within, because you're taking something that exists of a higher dimension. And to understand this topic, you in this human body have to raise your consciousness to a certain level that your soul is always capable of tapping into, because your soul is truly composed of the 13 dimensions of the entire universe. The only trick is to be in a position in this body where you're slowly letting go of how you believe reality or the universe or consciousness works, or maybe you haven't even thought about these things. But a lot of what is going to happen is when you're introduced to these high octave concepts from this channel, you're going to feel a part of your subconscious mind, the identity that you may have unconsciously agreed to throughout the earlier years of your life. Those thought patterns are going to be threatened. And it doesn't mean what you're hearing is wrong. It means that you're stepping outside of your ego's comfort zone. So learn how to break free of the static ego and come into a more fluid identity. And that is a way things can go forward. So step one in how to understand what spell work and magic is realize that the entire universe is a computer, okay? Now, when we're talking about a computer, realize that you have the hardware, right? You have the actual physical thing of a laptop or a computer, which is the thing you can touch. And this hardware is a piece of technology that can allow different structured forms of information become an installed program on that hardware. So the hardware has a purpose. So the entire universe is a collection of different types of computers. And the interesting thing is, when we as a species came into more technology, what it allowed us to do as a collective is to raise our awareness to a point where we are seeing things become possible that were not possible in the past. And those things, the way those things become real, the mechanics of those specific things hold a unique function and a way of being. And if we can understand how a computer works, we have a better understanding of how the metaphorical computer of the universe works. If we understand how the internet works, we have a better chance at allowing our mind in this reincarnation to come to an understanding that the internet is just a fractal representation of how the network of consciousness in the universe exists, right? So the universe is a computer, and every time you change your energy, or you're having a particular pattern of behavior, and that behavior is stemming from a subconscious belief that you have towards a certain area of life, and that connection of energy keeps reproducing. What happens is the moment you change the pattern of energy that is running inside of you, okay, you are basically telling the hardware that is your mind and your body that you are implementing new code, you are implementing new information into the software or the program of energy that this hardware is running off of. Okay, so the universe and your body and your mind has hardware, which is basically every single thing is a field of energy that is capable of executing different commands depending on what somebody is using it for. But in order to take your body or your mind or the universe and take the field of energy in a particular aspect and have that thing really act in a particular manner, you have to alter the software that is running on the hardware. And so when you change your thought, you're changing the code, right? When you are repeatedly reinforcing a new way of living, when you're correcting a thought pattern that you notice in your subconscious mind, and you're realizing that this thought pattern, this software that is installed in the background of the hardware that is your mind and your body, and when you feel like this is no longer helpful, you tweak that thought, you tweak the belief, you tweak the idea that you are this subconscious belief and you are this aspect of identity, and you're altering it to develop a new identity, right? So that is how you tweak one code, right, of the software, which is a program of energy that is able to be installed on a hardware where that program of energy can manifest. You know, you may have these subconscious thoughts and a program of beliefs, and that is the software. And the way the software is able to exist in this third dimensional realm is by that energy living through and staying dormant in your subatomic cells and particles and the subconscious mind and deeper layers of your brain. So that's step one, is realizing that whenever you alter the energy and you're moving towards a different way of communicating with the interface that is this third dimensional hologram, you're tweaking the code, okay? And you can imagine, even if you don't know much about computers, and I don't know that much either, but I understand the basics. Code, just imagine it to be a transcript of information that is then ported into a program that takes that transcript of information or that code and has it go on a pattern, and it cycles over and over again. And that's how software on a computer is able to stay solid and continually allow your hardware to run properly, because the information is cycling over and over again. So that's step one, is realizing that whenever you tweak the energy of anything, you're changing the code one time. Now, step 2 is, interestingly enough, when you are in a position of continually altering your thoughts, you realize that you have a subconscious belief that is either stemming from your egoic, which is your body and the identity you're holding in your body, and the patterns of ancestral egoic identities, because every person in your family line has embodied a certain identity, which can be called an ego. And as they embody that identity, the information got stored in their body. And the more they agreed to that energy, the information then got stored into their DNA, and that passed forward generation to generation. So you could be dealing with a subconscious belief from your ancestors or your family tree, or it's something that you're just recognizing is not aligned with who you would like to be. Now, when you change it one time, you tweak the code, right? But if you take a thought that you would like to change, if you realize you have a subconscious belief and you're wanting to alter it and really have it change in a permanent sense, so in the future that subconscious belief, which is producing disempowering experiences, now is changed into a new subconscious belief, which then produces more empowering experiences. You have to reinforce that change of code consistently, right? And you've all gone through this before, when you're trying to alter your thoughts from disempowering thoughts into empowering thoughts, because you're realizing that your thoughts are signals that are reverberating and being sent into the quantum field of the universe, and then the universe sends a mirror replication of that energy back to you, and it manifests into your physical realm. So you realize that your thoughts are really creating your reality, but realize that you have to reinforce that change. And it doesn't come from being super aggressive in yourself and feeling bad whenever you are experiencing that shadow subconscious belief and you have reinforced a new belief, for 4 or 5 months, and it comes up again. It's a process that is not progressively equal. It doesn't have this consistent decline as you're working on reinforcing a new thought pattern, that the old thought pattern is going to just get less and less and less. You have to be patient. Okay, so how this connects to spell work and magic is, usually what we do to change an energetic pattern in our life is reinforce a more empowering way of living. We reinforce a new thought pattern to have a new belief system come in that really alchemizes and transmutes the old belief system, right? So what you're doing is, instead of you changing the code or changing your energy one time, you're changing your energy a lot. And eventually, when you feel like that subconscious belief is fully gone and you have this new subconscious belief, what you did was you got that change in energetic code, you got that alteration of energy to not only change one time, but to have that change go in a circle and cycle over and over and over again. And interestingly enough, that is what a matrix is. A matrix is a code of energy that is set into motion, which creates a cycle of that energy. And usually it's called a matrix because that cycle of energetic code is not easily broken and it's staying solid. The reason why we're able to sit in this third dimensional matrix is because there is a large collection of different energetic codes that are existing, because this code is cycling in on itself over and over and over again to create one aspect of the mechanics that is this third dimensional hologram. Now there's millions of micro cycles of energy that have to come together in order for this third dimensional world to stay solid long enough for this reincarnation to last all the way through, right? So that's step 2, is realizing that yes, when you change your energy, you're changing the code, or you're changing the pattern slightly, right? But when you're actually making a long-term effect and you're not having to consistently reinforce that energy because it is cemented in your subconscious mind, that is because you have now created a mini matrix, which is having an energetic code cycle in over and over again, and that thing becomes something that is real in the realm at which it has to exist, because it's not breaking down. Okay, so step 3 is realizing that spell work is simply taking your consciousness, your free-willed soul, and deciding that you would like to see something happen in this world or in a different dimension. But instead of you just tweaking the energy or sending yourself some healing energy, or visualizing that you're going to manifest something and having the energetic code that is manifesting into reality be tweaked, so there is moments where there is a different type of energy, you're creating that change, but having it cycle over and over and over again, so you don't have to keep checking up on it. A spell work is simply setting a tiny matrix in motion, and a matrix is an energetic code or a specific type of energy that is able to push forward in a more solidified construct, because instead of you changing the code one time, you're allowing the code to cycle in on itself over and over again. And that is what a spell is. The only reason we have this disempowering version of what that word means is because in the past, many strong alchemists and wizards have taken their ability to tap into the higher dimensions and be formless, so they can truly take the form of the energy that they're wanting to cycle in over and over again. And they just decide this is what the energy is going to do. And the field accepts that because they're more fluid and less controlling on how they view reality. They're moving into a space where they're tapping into the higher dimensions of their soul and this galactic realm, instead of pivoting from their body, which is a more limited construct of energy. So realize that a spell is simply, instead of you having to continually reinforce the thought of you manifesting something, which is you already having something, or instead of you sending energy to a part of your body you want to heal day in, day out, once a month, once a week, what you're doing is you're creating a self-sustaining system that is going in motion, and you're deciding that the field is going to look like this. And with enough letting go of how you believe reality works from the way your mind has been programmed growing up based on your external experiences, you can tap into that more, and I'll make a video about that later. But that's what a spell is. Now, step 4 is truly realizing that your ability to tap into spell work and control the realms of the universe more efficiently, and really, instead of having to consistently reinforce a change of energy in your system, instead of always tweaking the energetic code of the software that is your subconscious mind, which is coming to life based on the hardware of your physical body and your physical mind. The hardware is the seen, and the software is the unseen. Instead of you tweaking the code consistently until the code eventually gets the hint that it needs to keep reproducing itself, you're going to put a moment of command into the universe. Not intention, command, because you are the entire universe. And the moment you realize that all you have to do to change something is remember that on some level, your soul is the entire universe. Everything is one. So if you would like to change a part of your body, shift your consciousness and remember that you are everything and become what you're trying to change. And then just change yourself, right? If you're wanting to manifest a successful business, realize that the only way that you're able to see the aspects of your business being created is because what you're experiencing in your consciousness is all part of your energetic field. So if you want to change your business, become the energy of the clients, become the money, become the success. Physically change yourself and realize that you are the thing you want to change. Okay, and then after that, you can move forward more efficiently. Shape shift into what you're trying to change. And once you're that thing in your imagination, just change yourself and that thing will change. Now, I'll definitely make a video on how to do spell work. It's a longer process that I do recommend if you're wanting to learn how to access advanced consciousness. Take my galactic quantum coaching. But step 4 is really still understanding that magic is all around us. Magic is the ability for energy to transmute into something else. Magic is the beautiful representation of how the universe can surprise us with its ability to completely evolve in any direction that we're intending it to move. Magic is witnessing life firsthand. The only difference is when you're doing spell work, you're taking the force of the universe and you're controlling it. You're commanding the universe because through your soul, you are the creator and you are the created. There is no separation. Okay? I hope this video helped. I will be doing more videos on this topic to just spread the information that these words are not what you think it is, and you thinking there's something negative could be limiting your conscious progression into the next stage of evolution within your soul itself. I want to tell you also that I offer galactic quantum coaching. If you're wanting to really expand into these supernatural realms and you feel as if there are topics that you would like to understand more, but your mind may not understand how to process the information, but your soul remembers that this thing is real. Those two realms, which is your interdimensional imagination, which is you plugging into the different dimensions of the universe at any given time, and then your mind, which is having to unlearn a bunch of ways that truly are not helping your progression forward. Those two places of dimensional consciousness have to be merged in a way that is concisive of what you're trying to accomplish. And through my coaching, no matter if it's spell work or magic, or you're a galactic guardian and you want to remember a reincarnation you've had,